was like, man, I need that $25 free. Wasn't thinking about the Bitcoin side. And then you had to wait a year to move it. And so about towards the end of the year, my homeboy, he called me up. He's like, hey bro, we're rich. I'm like, what you mean we're rich? He's like, check out that app. And so like that $25 free to turn in like 700. And after that, I was like, I got to start studying this. But yeah, out here in Kenya, most people are looking at Bitcoin, cryptos as a way to solve problems. To try to flip it doesn't really always make sense. To me, it's better to buy and hold until the market matures.
I'm still stuck at Nipsey Hussle.
Yeah.
I didn't know he was a Bitcoiner.
Yeah,
He was.
for sure.
Yeah, he was.
Without a doubt. Yeah,
You said he's your mentor?
yeah, correct.
Ah, perfect.
Hi guys, yet another episode of Bullish Banter, and we are recording today from our new offices, FX Space offices at the riverfront. I think today will be special given we have yet again another international guests. So I guess now Bullish is not just, it has not been Kenyan, but it's good that now we are back home after a trip all around East Africa. Rufus, how are you doing by the way?
I'm doing it great.
Yeah. First time in the offices, how are you feeling?
Well, it's new.
Yeah.
Of course, I have to figure things around, get familiarized with new setups. But I like
your
the
coffee.
Yeah.
Yes. Today we have a very special guest. I'd like him to introduce himself, and I think from his accent, should give you a hint of where he's coming from. Welcome to Bullish Banter.
I appreciate you.
You can say your name, maybe how you found yourself in Kenya.
Yeah. So name is Charles J. Kelly. Everybody calls me CJ, the smart guy in the crypto space. I'm a certified public accountant from Los Angeles, California. That's America. And I came into Kenya in December for the Africa Bitcoin conference, came out here for a month, absolutely loved it. And I was like, oh, I'm coming back. So now I got my 5-year visa. So I'll be spending, at least half my time here.
Oh, very nice. I think most of Bullish Banter listeners, of course, know Bitcoin and crypto and how he passionately speaks about it. And they have always asked us to cover it. And I think your specialty, especially on taxation and everything, and history and experience in it, I believe can be valuable to a lot of those who are getting new to it. And I think I'll just jump right into it. I mean, you guys have been in the game for a minute, and maybe from your perspective, how did you first of all get into crypto space?
So 2017 is when I officially got into it. I was just paying attention to the markets, but really there was a free like $25 that downloading an app would give you on Coinbase. And so I was just so poor. I was broke. I was like, man, I need that $25 free. Wasn't thinking about the Bitcoin side. And then you had to wait a year to move it. And so about towards the end of the year, my homeboy, he called me up. He's like, hey bro, we're rich. I'm like, what you mean we're rich? He's like, check out that app. And so like that $25 free to turn in like 700. And after that, I was like, I got to start studying this.
Okay.
Two of my mentors, Dr. Boyce Watkins and Nipsey Hussle, they were also encouraging us to research it. And so I've been studying it ever since.
Okay. I mean, you come from a CPA background, which is basically traditional finance. Mm-hmm. Didn't you find it a bit strange on how, $25 has flipped itself to $700? And more specifically, I believe stock market in the US is quite huge and you can literally trade for basically free. Mm-hmm. And I think didn't you find it a bit odd that you'd make such money within a short period of time?
Yeah, for sure. That's why I wanted to study it. Because, I mean, when you're in survival mode and you're just trying to, come up with something, think about it. I was trying to get $25 free and to turn that into 700, which at that time I didn't understand the full concept of crypto. So I sold it and paid off my rent. I was happy. I was like, man, I made my rent money for the month. And so to see that type of return, that's what really got me involved, because it was like, that sounds like a penny stock, for it to increase that quick. Like Tesla, it might double, it might triple, but to go from $25 to 700 something, that's like a 30x.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
What was the period?
We're talking probably the the very, very, very end of 2016 to 2017.
A year or so?
Yeah, it's about a year.
Okay.
Yeah.
And since then to date, we are at around 119,000 plus.
Yeah.
Thereabout. Would you say the space or the Bitcoin itself as an asset compared to the other coins is what you focus on a lot, or you still view the others as an opportunity to flip again?
So I look
Especially
at
the meme coins.
No, I look at everything different.
Okay.
So I look at Bitcoin as a commodity.
Yeah.
I don't look at it as an investment.
Okay.
So I use Bitcoin as my savings vehicle. So any money I make, whether it's through crypto, stocks, my own businesses, my savings is in Bitcoin. I don't save US dollars. I don't save Kenyan shillings. I don't save any government currency that can be debased. When it comes to altcoins, I used to buy a lot of them between 17 to 2020, and I still have a whole bunch of them. However, whenever they go up in value like a lot, I'll go ahead and sell them, and I'll consider that investment good. And I'll put some of that back into Bitcoin. Sometimes I buy other investments, but I don't really flip like I used to. Once I started, learning that this is a marathon. This isn't just a sprint. Like I remember when some of these tokens were like I remember when BNB was like $50. I remember when Ethereum was like less than 400. Yeah. I remember when Bitcoin was under 1,000. So to see these prices disinflated, to try to flip it doesn't really always make sense. To me, it's better to buy and hold until the market matures.
I'm still stuck at Nipsey Hussle. I didn't know he was a Bitcoiner.
Yeah,
he was
for sure.
Yeah, he was
without a doubt.
Perfect. Yeah. You said he's your mentor.
Yeah, correct.
Perfect.
I think, given he told you to study it and you did study it, what characteristics would you say you found quite intriguing that you made such a stark decision to not make to invest or rather save in it as a commodity? And like I said, you are a CPA. I think you have cardinal economics principle that you already studied over that qualification. What did you find intriguing that you think maybe might be impactful for somebody who is quite new to it and is trying to figure out? Because for some people, they just know it like you know it. $25, $700, I'm good.
Yeah.
What is it that makes it something that you're willing to bet your entire savings on?
Yeah. So in 2017, when I got in, it wasn't just about Bitcoin to me. It was about $25 and 700 something. I was still studying for my CPA, so I wasn't well versed in the space. I was studying for my CPA and studying for the crypto market all at the same time. And so what was impactful for me was being able to see the tokenomics behind it. There's a max 21 million supply, unlike the US dollar where they print that out at will. And I know a lot of people were talking about XRP. And at that time, I was looking at the supply and there was no max supply. And then even today, I don't quote the exact number, but if there's 99 million XRP tokens to ever be created, we're only around 42 million, something like that. Yeah. So like we still have a long way to go until that matures. Whereas Bitcoin, we're around like 19.7, 19.8 out of 21 million. Yeah. So we're towards the maturing place. And by the time it's done maturing, it's like 2140. So when you start to think about the amount of people that are going to be involved in Bitcoin and you look at a max supply, all of a sudden you start to think, wow, what are some of the assets that are going to be backed by Bitcoin? And when you start doing the math behind that, you realize a $5-6 million Bitcoin is probably going to happen within the next 10, 15 years.
That is the price per coin, yeah?
Correct. That's when you look at the possibilities as an accountant, as a CPA, that's what I see.
We have had the likes of Cathy Wood give numbers, Michael Saylor give numbers. Do you go by those hypes, or you are like, you should do it on your own?
So as a CPA, most of those guys come to people like me for those numbers. Okay. We're the ones that are doing the number crunching. Okay. And it's so funny when I hear like a Michael Saylor or Larry Fink or Donald Trump, when all of a sudden they're talking about Bitcoin, but we were talking about Bitcoin when they were talking a scam. Yeah. And, most of these executives, they come to their CPAs to understand the numbers behind things, and then they make a decision. So the way I see it is I'm the same way I would come up with numbers for them if I was working for them. Yeah. I'm doing that same thing for myself and for all my clients.
Okay. It's interesting that you mentioned Donald Trump. I believe in the first term, he was very much against Bitcoin.
Correct.
And then right now he's basically shilling it and talking about starting a reserve. Mm-hmm. We have seen the Genius Act and all that around it. From your interaction, at least with the Americans and how Bitcoin, some people do not view it as asset. There are some fund managers who have categorically said the likes of, what is his name? JP Morgan CEO. I've been very much against it.
Yeah.
And Trump is doing it. How is the perception, at least from where you are coming from, your community, given your background, and right now when it's being talked about by the political elites?
Yeah, unfortunately, a lot of people are confused because, we could take those four individually. Jamie Dimon was the CEO of JP Morgan Chase. He was saying, that it was trash, that it was not important. But meanwhile, if you look at his actions, they were buying up all the patents, or they were, building themselves for this position. Yeah. So it's not always you do what they say, but you watch what they do. Trump, he had used Bitcoin with his dealings with Russia, and that's in the Mueller report. Yeah. So he wasn't looking at it necessarily as a financial instrument. He was looking at it as a way to, be discreet with your funds. Yeah. But then when he realizes, this is becoming into this, then he starts to promote it. Larry Fink, CEO of BlackRock, talking about, none of my clients want any exposure to digital assets. And as soon as the ETF gets approved, he's like, I think Bitcoin is the most amazing thing in the world. So, people are very confused because they've been hearing bad information for years. Okay. And that's why I think educating people is so big. And you have to take them through every single individual step. Yeah. Because if you miss the step of owning your keys, somebody like a Larry Fink can own your keys, and then he could say, hey, Trump, change the laws real quick. Owning your keys becomes illegal. Yeah. And all of a sudden now they have control over everything.
Interesting that you mentioned that. I'll tangent a bit to, I think it's Scottie Pippen's. There's an interview. I don't know if you ever had that interview that he met Satoshi in 1993.
You're talking about Scottie Pippen? Yeah. That was ridiculous.
Yeah, there's a clip. I'll show you the clip.
Yeah.
And I'm saying that because the paper came out in 2008. So how you met him?
93. That's a long. That's
before there are three championship run. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're from LA, so I know he. Do you support LA or you?
Oh yeah, I'm a Laker fan all day. Okay. Kobe, LeBron,
very nice.
Magic.
Any chance of winning next season with now Doncic?
I hope so. I think we have a chance. I think the West is just so stacked.
Okay,
that's the thing is if it was the East, I mean LeBron could just rest the whole year, and then the playoffs he could, man up, but. You have to play hard every single night on the West.
Yeah, the reason I'm bringing up these guys is because we have seen a lot of celebrities become the face of crypto. I think including 8-time Super Bowl champion, at some point being charged or held liable personally. Do you think these are people who are responsible for the information, or they are responsible for creating awareness into this space?
I don't think I don't think we should be following celebrities and their endorsement deals. Just because a celebrity is on the Wheaties box or drinking Gatorade doesn't mean that we should be eating it or drinking it. Yeah. And when it comes down to financials, you typically have to be at least 18. So, I know a lot of celebrities were supporting FTX.
Yes.
And then FTX wound up being a fraud. But it's one of those things where it's like, why are you watching a commercial of an NBA player talking about your financials when he's a multi-millionaire and, you're just trying to figure things out.
Yeah.
I think people like to buy dreams. And when it comes down to money, you need to learn the principles.
Okay.
So financial education, I think, is big. Personally, I don't think that they should really get in trouble for marketing or advertising something because they do that with everything. If they do that, I mean,
I'd say traditionally, you need a license or some form of qualification to advertise an investment.
Yeah.
But due to law regulation back at the time, So a lot of these crypto companies found celebrities as very good targets to market their products. Yeah.
Okay. And yeah, that makes a lot of sense because there have been almost Silk Road collapse, I think, in the early 2010s, FTX. We have had near collapses in other, crypto exchanges. We had CZ like 2 years ago being incarcerated for a while. How do you view these negative, I would say, connotations to the industry, and yet still you're able to dedicate all your life savings into Bitcoin? And then maybe you can elaborate more on the difference between hot wallet and, cold wallets.
Yeah, so Bitcoin is completely different than crypto and these exchanges. If you look at the Bitcoin white paper, it clearly says that Bitcoin is meant to be digital cash for peer-to-peer transactions. It's not meant to be bought on an exchange. So in theory, you have a podcast, people should be sending you Bitcoin versus you going to buy it from an exchange. It's supposed to be peer-to-peer. So these exchanges have nothing to do with Bitcoin whatsoever. So me saving in Bitcoin has nothing to do with FTX. The trick is to own your keys. And so you mentioned cold wallets, hot wallets. A hot wallet is typically what's on the exchange. A cold wallet is when you take it off, you own your keys. And so anything that I have, I own my keys. I don't trust any bank, any exchange, anything like that. I'll use them, but that's not what it's meant. Bitcoin's not meant for that, but sometimes it's easier.
Now, you mentioned you came to Kenya for the Africa Bitcoin conference last year. I think they have happened multiple times, at least over the last 5 years, and you decided to stay, perhaps based on maybe your experience from 2016 to all the way to 2024, and now that you have been in Kenya for at least a year or rather around the world for, particularly Africa, for the last couple of months. What is it that you find it interesting that makes you, first of all, within the crypto space in Kenya to stay around? And what is your view on the perception on crypto between the two continents?
Yeah, so it's a great question. So most of Americans are looking at Bitcoin and crypto as a way to get rich. Yeah. Most Africans, I'm seeing they're looking at Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies as a way to solve problems. So when I go to the Bitcoin conference in Las Vegas, you see the price every single where. You see people, acting like they're rich, and they got big, huge gold chains, and then the politics, they got "Make America Great" hats on. When you come out here, it's more about.
You should have brought some. There are a couple of fans around.
You're always in this argument because he was supporting the Democrats, and I was for Trump, and then eventually.
The winner won, and we are here. But I told you so.
Yeah.
For fun. We are tired of winning.
It's gonna be so much winning. But yeah, out here in Kenya, most people are looking at Bitcoin, cryptos as a way to solve problems. I know in America they just made a rule to where if you aren't a citizen and you're sending a remittance back home, there's going to be additional tax on there. Yeah. So on top of the fees for like a Western Union, on top of them might pausing it or delaying it, holding it, the foreign exchange rates. Yeah. I mean, now you have an additional tax on there. But when you start using peer-to-peer wallets, at least they can't freeze your money. You still might need to pay tax in a year maybe, but at least you have the freedom to be able to move. And so I look at the problems that are here in Africa, and they're being solved by builders and by creators. And I love that. Whereas in America, most of them are just looking at, can we get rich?
Okay. Pure capitalism.
Pure capitalism. Michael Saylor, Bitcoin's a financial instrument. Out here, it's not thought of like that.
I'm sure you've heard or seen what Jack Dorsey is doing with the, Bluetooth.
BitChat.
Yeah. And, some time back, they would say, like, without internet, ideally, you cannot, transact even Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Do you think such developments are happening across the, the builders that you have seen within Kenya? Mm-hmm. And I think Jack has been here also for the Bitcoin conference that he did last year.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Do you see significant support in at least from the capitalist side, in assessing this bill, as be it with the tools, with the infrastructure, and how, I would say, optimistic are you in some of the solutions that they are trying to solve?
I think that I think you have to be careful when you're in Africa, because most everybody recognizes that the opportunities are here, but you have to figure out what's their intent. I think Jack Dorsey's intent is great. I look at what he's done with Block. He's donated money to our nonprofit, Bitcoin transformation community, where we go inside of prisons, educate them on financial literacy by ways of Bitcoin. So he's actually donating to that. He's coming to the African Bitcoin conference. He's creating tools that you can transact Bitcoin or at least be able to talk to each other without the internet. So I believe Jack Dorsey's great, but I also believe that there's a lot of capitalists that are seeing the opportunities out here and they're trying to capitalize on it and not give back to the community. They're just trying to take resources out. And so I think that you guys should be very, very cautious about who comes in, especially in Kenya, because I feel like the entire world is looking at Kenya right now, because your human capital is very strong. I think that you guys are some of the most educated, intelligent people around the world, but yet don't really see the monetary value that comes from that. And so I'm trying to bridge the gap. Hey, Kenya should get paid more for, you see how smart they are? But then I feel like you got the other people where they're like, oh, you're willing to work for $300 a month? How about $260? And they're going to keep trying to lower it down.
Okay. Interesting that you've mentioned, those who are trying to capitalize on it and not. I think Gary Gensler, the previous head of SEC, was quite against the, crypto space and let's say Bitcoin in general, even as a financial instruments for companies like Tesla would even excessively punish them. And right now, I believe we just had the Genius Act in the US. In Kenya, there is a digital assets bill already in Parliament. Given the regulations which are coming in and your experience so far, do you think they are positive for the industry? And you mentioned something about cold wallets and your keys. Is it something that you think will change the landscape, or it will make it more mainstream to compete with the normal money or paper money?
Yeah, I think that we're at the very beginning stages. I think the Genius Bill in America, which basically said that whatever stable coin you have has to be pegged like 1 for 1. If you have $1 in the USDT or USDC stable coin, you have to have that $1 in reserve. I think that's absolutely great. They have to report what's in their reserves on a continuous basis. So I think the Genius Bill is necessary. I think that it's a great first step in order to get things going. But I don't think that the stable coin was that's not my biggest concern. I think that's a country's biggest concern, because if you could have somebody just make a whole bunch of stable coins, it's no difference than creating counterfeit money. And so that can destroy an economy. So I think as a country, whether it's Kenya or America, regulating stable coins is essential. So that's why I believe that one was first. I'm more concerned about making sure there's no barriers to entry and making sure that we're able to hold our keys and to make sure that there's no central bank digital currency that's enacted. I'm 100% against central bank digital currencies.
Why?
That gives governments too much control. Like even in, I believe it was in Indonesia, they just said that if you don't move your money in your bank for 90 days, they can close your bank account. So it's like if you can make somebody's money expire, it's already bad enough that, if you work for 100 shillings and then the next day the cost of something went from 100 shillings to 103 and now you can't purchase it, your time and energy is already being devalued. Now, if you don't spend it within 90 days, it expires. To me, that gives governments too much power, too much control. When you can make it expire, you can reject things. Say if somebody has diabetes and they go buy a chocolate bar, they could say, oh, well, they're going to pay extra tax because we're trying to help them.
Sin tax, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm against that. I think that's government overreach, but I also recognize that central bank digital currency is almost inevitable because the countries that have them, they'll be able to receive more income and taxes, and they'll be able to have more power. So I believe it's inevitable.
I don't think it's ever going to work in any country. Most of these leaders, not just in Kenya, US, or any other country, they are irredeemably corrupt. So they need their own loopholes. So if you force everyone in a country to be operating on the same financial ledger, and the government is looking at that, then definitely that means there will be no crime, no corruption deals. And of course, these are the guys who are the main perpetrators. Yeah.
Interesting. I think we'll come to the close with something that you mentioned earlier, and I think we try our best at Bullish Banter, and Rufus has been on this front a lot, financial literacy. In your profile, you have been involved with a lot of, prison and inmates educating. Tell us about that and how is it coming along so far?
Yeah, so our CEO, Justin Rudrick, just like when the Bitcoin white paper, he was affected by the 08-09 financial crisis. He made some mistakes. They're outlined in his book, From Bars to Bitcoin, during that time. Me as well. I was going to college during that time, and I'm asking my dad, hey, could I have some money for college? He's looking at me like, son, I did the best I could for you. Yeah. Money is bad right now. You just got to go. Yeah. So I didn't get any money. So all of a sudden I had to figure out ways to survive. That 08-09 affected a lot of us. And so if you read the Bitcoin white paper, it was made in response to the 08-09 financial crisis. Yeah. And so me and Justin, we were talking about it, and he was like, you know what? I'm going to teach Bitcoin to the inmates. And I was like, I'm 100% behind that. And so I provide my CPA services, making sure that the background is taken care of. Every once in a while, I'll go inside of a prison. But for the most part, he'll go inside of prisons, both physically and virtually. We'll also give them jobs upon, like, when they get out in the Bitcoin mining space. And so we're teaching them mining. We're teaching them full-blown skills. And one of the transitional homes that we actually had gone to, they said, you know what, this is so great that we're going to turn this into a mining facility so that whenever somebody comes out, they immediately can learn this tool. Okay. And so it's been absolutely great. Virtually, we're able to get into more prisons now because a lot of the inmates in America, they have tablets. Yeah. So it's been fantastic. Justin's been able to speak in like 3 or 4 different countries now. And it's been amazing.
There's something you mentioned before we started the podcast. I don't know if it's okay to bring it up. Mm-hmm. Mostly about inmates and why most people end up in jail.
Yeah.
And its relationship with money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can talk about Kenya on this one. Yeah. So I was in Rangiri, and as I'm taking an Uber, there's a fire. Yeah. And there's a bunch of people around it. And so I'm thinking, well, they might be burning trash, they might be doing something. But as the Uber goes past, I see legs. Yeah. And apparently they burned this man alive because he stole somebody's phone. Yeah. I'm not used to seeing that in America. So I was like, whoa, what's going on? Yeah. Talking to the Uber driver, he's like, well, that's normal. Yeah. And I'm thinking, man, the max that phone is going to get him is about $1,000. Yeah. Why are these people this angry? And when I think about, like, because I'm in therapy as well, I have a male therapist, female therapist, they always say that you're triggered by something previously. Yeah. So if somebody steals your phone, it's typically not over that. It's due to some other reason. Yeah. And it's probably due to every single day you're struggling, you're trying to make money, and you're already feeling somewhat helpless. Yeah. And then this person just stole my phone. Yeah. I'm going to take out all my anger and frustration out on this person. Yeah. And when I think about, well, who's stealing from you? It's the government. Yeah. They're printing out money, the Federal Reserve. Yeah. And so every day you're being stolen from. And then the one time you have somebody who does something in person, you go after it. And I know it's like that in America. Yeah. It's like, oh, wow, you got this opportunity, 50 Cent, get rich or die trying. It's these senses of hopelessness. And if you finally have an opportunity or you have something, you take it out. So if you react by doing a crime, you react by being violent, you react any type of way, that hopelessness makes you upset. Yeah. But you look at 08-09, how many of those bankers went to jail? 0. Yeah. So it's like, so these guys are allowed to steal from everybody and there's no consequences, but somebody steals $1,000 phone, and that could be the end of their life. Yeah. And so I just look at, like, overall, if people understood that if you have Bitcoin, the government's not stealing from you, you probably wouldn't be so upset.
Yeah. Would you say that Bitcoin is like our way of reacting.
I think Bitcoin, it incubates you from being robbed through inflation.
Yeah.
So, if prices for things are going up, your Bitcoin's typically going up.
Yeah.
So you're not as upset as you are if somebody does something. So you may not react as angry. You may not have to steal for money. You may not have to, commit fraud for money because your time and energy is not being stolen from.
Yeah.
When your time and energy is being stolen, that's typically what creates the hopelessness.
Yeah. The whole cycle that someone
I'm angry,
getting burned alive or in prison.
Yeah. I'm upset.
You do also educate people on Bitcoin laws, or rather not laws, but rather tax laws.
Mm-hmm.
And like it goes hand in hand with regulation. How do you view taxation, at least in the crypto space or Bitcoin space?
Mm-hmm.
And is it as punitive, or it's more given that there's that perception that you have multi-millions?
Mm-hmm.
So when you educate people on tax laws, especially these regulators and those involved in that space, how do you talk to government to understand that yes, we'll pay our taxes and everything, but at least it comes from I would say the percentage or the quotation? How does it work generally?
Yeah. So in America, whenever you spend, sell, or exchange, that creates a taxable event. And so one thing that Senator Lummis, I've talked to her on multiple occasions, is she's saying, well, it makes no sense for us to be taxed when we're spending it just for goods and services. If I go buy a coffee and I spend my Bitcoin, why am I having a capital gains tax on that? And so what they're trying to do now is create like a de minimis law where whether it's 300, 600, it's in debate right now. Yeah. But if you're just spending it for goods and services, there should be no capital gains tax on it, which I believe is fantastic. I think that up until 2023, 2024, the tax laws for crypto were actually pretty favorable. Mm-hmm. I think that the majority of people, if they were trying to hide it, they're going to get caught. They're going to get in trouble. On the first page of 2020 all the way up to currently, on the tax return, to ask, are you in digital assets? If you're in digital currency? And if you check that box, no, but you have been, to me, that's considered fraud or evasion. Yeah. And so unlike if you try your best, they only typically have 3 years to audit you. But if you commit fraud or evasion, they have an infinite amount of time. Yeah. So if all of a sudden, you buy a house with your Bitcoin and they go back on your tax and they see, oh, you committed fraud, they're going to take you for a lot. And so my goal is just to warn people, hey, if you're in it, just check the box. Yes, try the best you can, because the IRS doesn't know about this stuff. Like, they don't understand how to calculate all your taxes yet. They're just trying to see if you're trying your best. Because if you're committing fraud, eventually they will know how to do it and they will come for you. But if you're trying your best, it's a 99% chance you'll be okay.
Otherwise, I think it's been a good session. I don't know if maybe Rufus, you have any more questions for CJ?
If you had to describe the interaction between Bitcoin and Kenyans, or the Kenyan Bitcoin space, how would you describe it in one sentence or one word?
Must needed. And that'll be a hyphenated word.
Yeah.
Must needed.
Must?
Needed.
Must needed.
Yes.
Interesting.
When I'm in Kibra with Afrobit, they're creating these circular economies. Yeah. And I think that's magnificent, because otherwise somebody like myself wouldn't just go to Kibra.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Like, but if they're like, oh, this is Bitcoin Valley, we're going to go down there.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, cool, let's go. Whenever there's a Bitcoin conference, a diaspora conference, a blockchain conference, you can easily just bring somebody over there. Hey, this is where you get your souvenirs. Yeah. We'll take you through the process of how they actually, create these souvenirs, pay for it in sats, take it back home for all your friends and family. Yeah. And that's an easy way to create a circular economy. And you're bringing money from the outside into the community, which only builds the community up. So I think it's must needed, as well as not just in places like Kibra, but for the whole country. Because if you look at the Kenyan Federal Reserve, they hold US dollars in their treasury. Yeah. Meanwhile, the America's printing out money and devaluing it. So, I saw the protests here. You guys are thinking Ruto's robbing you, and he might be, but America's robbing Ruto. Yeah. So it's like, where does the robbing, where does the thievery end?
Sounds like the Roman Empire.
Yeah. Get you some Bitcoin. Must need it.
Very nice. I think this has been illuminating. Perhaps maybe your closing remarks. And maybe.
And if you have questions for us.
Yeah, for sure. So if I were to say anything to my Africans, to my Kenyans out here, educate yourself on Bitcoin, educate yourself on AI, and your income has no boundaries. The real opportunities are on the internet, not in America, not in Kenya. The real opportunities are on the internet. So study the money of the internet, which is Bitcoin, and study ways to automate and have employees on the internet, which is AI.
Okay. Any questions?
Yeah. So how long have y'all been in Bitcoin?
Similar period.
Okay.
2015.
Okay.
A bit, and then there was this website known as Local Bitcoin. Some might know it in Kenya. And then I think it died like 3 years ago or a year ago. So we were just playing. That time I was still in campus, like you.
Yeah.
Today I think it was around maybe 1,000 thereabout.
Yeah.
But I think I made like 5,000 Kenya shillings, and I'm like, a student, that's a lot of money during those times.
Yeah.
Not at the moment because of inflation, as you said, robbing you. But those times, 5,000 would actually be a good amount to, be a student.
Yeah.
I would not say what.
Yeah.
And then left a bit, but I think since before COVID 2019 thereabout, I've been at least involved or holding a few of them since then.
Nice.
Yeah.
We started in 2015. I'm a career trader, Forex. So I was doing a lot of research on like what's this new asset all about.
Yeah.
Then I decided to just pump $1,000.
Yeah.
I think it was a few weeks, like 3-4 weeks. Then I had $3,000, and I was like, nah, bring this money.
Let's put it to work a bit.
So I don't regret as much, but it was good cash. I was young. So after that, I started now researching more. I remember on the next cycle, there was this guy, the John McAfee. We had a lot of exchanges coming up. We had local Bitcoins coming in. So I started trading out of cryptocurrencies around. I would retire flip accounts, move to the next new thing. So I believe in a span of like an year, I had read let's just say around thousands of white papers. Every time there would be a new cryptocurrency, I would be deep into it. I'm reading the white paper. What is it all about? What are the tokenomics? How is the community and everything? I think the cycle ended with a company called Cryptopia.
Okay.
When they collapsed, and I had some coins in there. Then after that, I was like, nah, I'm not doing this shit anymore. Bitcoin.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
He's more max on it than me. I think more. It's like, for me, it's like buying a piece of land.
Yeah.
Whatever I have, it's enough. I'll cash out when I need to. But, like, you do your thing.
Yeah.
If you hit 5.6 million, I think that would be a good way to go to Barbados.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
Buy an island.
Yeah. No, buy an island. Just retire.
I'll just retire. Okay.
Yeah. Buying would be wasting again your hard-earned money. Why buy it?
For me, since then, I think what I did, once I decided to really focus on Bitcoin, I started doing a lot of online content, helping people understand.
Yeah.
At some point, I started writing for Forbes. I would cover stories about cryptocurrency development, Bitcoin. Then I would highlight projects in Bitcoin happening in Kenya and Africa to the rest of the world via Forbes. I remember there was this one guy called Paco. He was traveling the world. When we got to Kenya, I wrote about his journey and experience in Kenya. And then all of a sudden, he gained popularity, and he got more support and recognition. And since then, we've been doing more and more of that.
Nice.
So this Tando, I'm sure you'll use Tando.
Every day.
Yeah. So also writing about Tando and other Bitcoin projects in Kenya.
Yeah.
So far, I also do events, just trying to help people understand.
Nice.
And my biggest, I would say, satisfaction is seeing people actually adopting Bitcoin. So I've seen people convert their traditional investments into Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Then a year, 2 years down the line, they're like, hey, Rufus, thank you.
Yeah.
You got me out of this mess.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's a great feeling. And last question.
Yeah.
Why Trump?
Finally.
As a trader in the markets, we had a really good time on the first 4 years he was president.
For sure.
So when I saw the potential of him becoming president again, I don't get involved in the politics and all of it. I was more like, if Trump is president, markets are going to burn really well. And I think he's been good.
Yeah.
Okay, increased volatility, yes. Upside, downside, he was sanction, no sanction. But eventually, the market has processed that with the taco trade. And now we are seeing things really shaping up.
Yeah. Got it.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Should have got him MAGA hats.
Try to get me in trouble.
So guys, that's been your bullish banter across the world. I think CJ has put a lot of perspective for new crypto enthusiasts or coiners. You can find him on his Twitter handle, Charles.
As CJ the smart guy.
Yes. Of course, we'll put the details below where you can maybe get in touch with him. I've been your host, Jesse Rufus. Until next time with Bullish Banter. Adios.